Jacob, how you doing, brother?
Pretty good. Just got done with the 4th of July festivities and ready to get back after the grind, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. How's Fourth of July for you, brother?
Pretty good. Got to see some friends, got to see some family, eat some good food. So, yeah, it was much needed, I feel like.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I'm on bodybuilding prep right now, so I didn't eat anything, but I still was able to enjoy the time. But as you know, it's literally a different game. But dude, appreciate you for coming on. I know we've
Yeah.
made a lot of progress. I think a lot of people could also obviously take in a lot of motivation and to show what's possible. But really quick, I do want to show you off a little bit with your transformation, man, because it's been absolutely crazy. This is like literally two different people.
Yeah.
How long was this?
This was around 3 months being on the program from like the moment I reached out to you guys.
Absolutely. Does it look like 3 months? It doesn't look like 3 months to me. It looks like it looks like a 1 or 2 year transformation, which is absolutely insane.
Yeah, I honestly like I'm still mind blown and how quick the transformation was. I really thought it would take you like 2 or 3 times because you always hear like, oh, it didn't take you 2 years or whatever to get like fat or whatever. Like it's gonna take that long to get back. But yeah, it was the progress was like real quick. It was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Awesome, man. Well, dude, like I said, before anything, I do want to talk about you first. Just introduce yourself, what's your name, where you're from, how old are you? Just a little bit about yourself first, man.
My name is Jacob from Omaha, Nebraska, and 27 years old, spending time with my dog. Always been a fan of gym and working out and stuff. I like working on cars.
Awesome, man. Awesome. I do want to talk about like your journey before. Where were you just like in your journey in general before the aesthetic dream? Like, how was your energy levels, your body, your mindset, discipline, etc.? How was everything like before and where were you at?
Before, honestly, like I would say I was just like a typical gym bro.
Mhm.
Like I would try and train hard, but wasn't really keeping track of stuff. After my workouts, I go get a Chipotle bowl or something like that to try and get my protein in.
Yeah.
And yeah, I tried a couple different things, and I would often go like really extreme with stuff, and then it was just like super hard to maintain. And honestly, I kind of got to a point where I was like, I just gave up. Like, just thought like my body's gonna like look like this, so I kind of just still maintain the gym just because I like going. It's a fun place to let out your aggressions and stuff. I guess I was kind of just lost in the sauce.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And so I always say this as well, when it comes to getting to that next level, maybe you can get results like that, like if you were starting out for some people, but obviously getting to that next level, it's a completely different game, right? Really got to be dialed in every single aspect. And I remember this. Don't think I forgot this. I think I told you this before, but when you first came into the program, before you even started anything, just when you signed up, you were like, dude, like I'm gonna be like one of your craziest transformations. So, and I believed you. I was like, dude, I know it. I can tell just literally from the conversation that we had you were gonna do it, and you fucking did it. That's awesome, man. But yeah, so what do you feel like for you then? Before the aesthetic dream, what do you feel like was just like the biggest challenge with fitness in general before joining the transformation program?
I would definitely say like almost all of it, if I'm being honest. Like from the food aspect, it was hard to like meal prep and kind of do that with foods I liked. Like I'd often like force myself to eat something that I didn't really like or something, and it was hard to be consistent because I was making it like harder than it needed to be. And then as far as like training and stuff too, like I said, I might go to the gym and be like, oh, I lifted 40 pounds. Like next week I'm gonna try and do 45, but I wasn't keeping track of like any of the like rep ranges or anything like that, and I couldn't see like that small incremental progress. Another thing too, I would say is like knowing when to dial it up or like when to dial it down. And I feel like Coach Carson's been pretty good with that. Hey, you can push a little more where I kind of didn't think I did, or sometimes too, it's like, hey, maybe you need to dial back a little bit and you're like your body will grow. And I kind of just laid my ego aside and like trusted him, and it's been great.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think you mentioned something that's really important there. Number one is the tracking, and then actually tracking of how many reps and every single thing, every single time you go into the gym, right? Because one thing I always say is what doesn't get tracked doesn't get improved on. Whatever aspect of your life you're trying to improve on, right? Whether it's like your fitness, your macros, finance, whatever it might be, if it doesn't get tracked, it's not going to get improved on. I think that's exactly what we did. Is we specifically just focused on the small wins and compounded it over time. If you compound those wins over time, that's where you actually see the big transformation. But at the end of the day, people only see the before and after. You're like, oh, you do that, right? But it's like the tiny daily small wins that we build up. And then that's what leads up to the actual big transformation. For you, man, I know you mentioned that biggest challenge was just overall everything else, right? The training, the nutrition. For you right now, kind of coming out, and obviously you're still in the program. We're still making consistent friggin' progress every single day. What have you achieved so far, and how do you feel now?
Yeah, so one really cool thing I've achieved with the program, honestly, like is my energy levels. I've always kind of struggled with like, getting real sleepy throughout the day and stuff like that and needing like a bunch of energy drinks and stuff. And immediately, honestly, within like 2 weeks of being on the meal plan and stuff, like I had energy throughout the day. And that was really weird for me because I haven't had anything like that since honestly like middle school, man. That felt really good. I'm getting stronger on my lifts. Like I remember I was still hitting like PRs as I was cutting,
Yeah.
and to me it like didn't really make sense, but I'll take it. And the big thing too is I ended up losing like 40 pounds, which to me was really funny because I remember coming on, Coach Carson's like, yeah, I want to get you between like 175 and 185. And I'm just thinking like, dude, you're on crack. Like I might be lucky to hit like 195.
Yeah.
And eventually like it just kept coming down. I'm like, damn, like exceeded my like expectations of like what I even thought was possible, which is super cool for me.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So how much weight have you lost in total?
So yesterday I weighed in at like 178 and I think I started at 221. So maybe just over 40.
That's what I'm talking about, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And one thing I always say too is when obviously we're not just focusing on the scale because that's why we ask for progress pictures. That's why we dial in on every single aspect, just like your training. A lot of people they make a mistake of just focusing on the scale, right? If you just focus on the scale, you would not look the way you look right now, right? You would not have any shape. Focusing on those both together, that's what actually made the transformation. Because nobody's gonna come up to you and be like, "Hey, dude, you look 179 today. You don't look 178 now." Like people will see you and be like, "Dude, this is absolutely crazy. You look like you replaced the fat with muscle, but obviously you're just growing the muscle as we're losing the fat." Exactly what we've been doing with the PRs, even though we've been dropping weight. So that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, yeah, man. So if I was to ask you, because obviously every single aspect, when people have to make a commitment or a decision for themselves, they're faced with that commitment and decision, like right in front of them. And sometimes it could be nerve wracking, right? So especially when you're making a commitment where it's like, all right, let me transform my life and my body like forever. If somebody was on the fence, maybe a friend of yours, maybe somebody you don't know, but you just want the best for them, right? If somebody was on the fence and they were thinking about wanting to make that commitment in the aesthetic dream to make that transformation for themselves, would you recommend that person or a friend to go through a program, and why?
Yeah, I definitely recommend the Aesthetic Dream program. If you're someone that really wants to change your life and you've got the real determination to do it, but you just kind of don't know how to get there, like the coaches at the Aesthetic Dream are going to make it as easy as possible. Transformations are difficult, but from like the training, the nutrition, even the mentality, you're going to feel great. And if you put in the work, you're really going to see progress. And these are the first guys I've ever ran across that like actually got it done. So you're in really good hands.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Appreciate that. Yeah, dude, the main thing is, like what you said, you have to be ready for that, right? Because, like, let's say if you weren't in the right mindset and you weren't ready to make that commitment, like, you can have the perfect coach. I always say this, you can have the perfect coach with the perfect program, make it as easy as possible. But if you don't have the mindset for it and you're not ready for it, like, nothing's going to happen if you're not ready to make that commitment. So at the end of the day, it's all about, okay, like, let me make this decision that I will do everything that I need to do to be able to make this transformation. That's exactly what you did. I appreciate you, bro. This was great. There was a lot of golden nuggets I think a lot of people can take on. But what's next for you now? What's going to be the next goal? I know we've lost a good amount of body fat, gained a good amount of muscle. But what do you feel like is the vision for yourself now, brother?
Yeah, so I'm kind of in the reverse diet phase now, which has been good because I love eating.
Yeah.
And honestly, my next goal is to probably put on some more muscle. I really want to grow my chest and probably my hamstrings. I feel like that really fill out my physique. And yeah, just really looking forward to what we got in store.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. All right, Jacob. Well, I'll see you later. Appreciate it, man. Peace.
Awesome. Appreciate you, Francis.